Hey guys, what's going on? It's TWINTUITION 717. I am back with another video. I hope you guys are doing incredibly well. So I got a message last night about the Temperance card, and I wanted to come on and share a reading around the energies here, because if you look at the image, it's a beautiful feminine energy here, just with the dress that she's wearing, the position of her feet. Her feet are beautiful, just very, very feminine. The swans are in the background as well to say that this entity, this being here, has gone through a lot of transformation, and he or she is perfectly embodying the Temperance card, which is a balance of divine masculine and divine feminine energy. This might be a lot of you who are readers in the community as well. You guys are just able to relate to men and women in a way that's very deep. I feel that men and women enjoy your company. Men and women can both relate to you. Your energy is just very calming. It's very balanced. And your divine counterpart is seeking the same type of balance, is what I get. And you're very attractive to them right now. So specifically because I'm feeling masculine energy as the one that's like admiring this beautiful Temperance goddess here, I'm going to pull some cards and just find out what this divine masculine wants to say to you, okay? It's not going to be a long reading, but I've been working on this personal deck a lot that, as I mentioned in the last reading, is inspired by my own divine masculine, and it's really been doing well in personal readings, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it, and I'm going to trust the energy behind that. All right, and I'm so eager to share it with you guys as well. So again, these messages are going to be for a divine feminine. Okay, and your masculine at this time wants you to know that because you are perfectly embodying such balance, you're very attractive, you're hardworking, you're a go-getter. Whatever you want, you don't have to ask anybody for it. You can get it done yourself. You are bringing a lot of deep perspective to this masculine's life, to the point where he's creating a lot of endings, he or she. They're creating a lot of endings right now because of this whole twin flame journey. It's like they're pursuing it without even trying to. It's just these natural endings are occurring right now. And that's because you are completely balanced. You don't need your counterpart to take care of you in any way, to love you, to want you, to need you. You are just simply there, and you're existing, and the connection, the intensity, the romance, the magnetism towards each other is just there. It exists. No one's trying. It's just two energies that are pulling together. Okay, so there might be a lot of eyes on you if you're in the divine feminine energy, specifically because people are now okay, I'm hearing you're having the last laugh. Okay, and what I mean by that is divine feminine, people really looked at you as though you were a joke, I guess, at times, maybe for your beliefs. A lot of you have stepped onto this spiritual journey, and maybe you sounded a little too advanced for the people that you were surrounding at the time, and people really tried to ostracize you away from society, made you feel like you were the oddball, based on like your upbringing or your mannerisms or your culture, like whatever the case is. I have a feeling that like when you met your masculine, his people, like his whole side of things, that was the energy behind trying to make you feel very insecure about who you were. And instead of caving, a lot of these feminines started pouring into themselves. Okay, and by pouring into yourself, what you do is you start balancing masculine and feminine energy, because you are taking control, but you're surrendering at the same time. So you're surrendering by having the courage to be yourself, and you're embodying the masculine energy by like taking a lot of the actions that involve pouring into yourself. Okay, many of you have had to get a second job. A lot of you have had to rethink the way that you are engaging in personal relationships, gain your independence, gain your autonomy. A lot of you right now, when you look back, you're no longer under like someone's thumb, okay? Because many of you are starting to pull up your socks and depend on yourself, simply because you don't like being told what to do, okay? And I have a feeling that a lot of people that were looking at you, like I'm seeing a divine feminine, especially with the swans in the background. Like what I'm getting is like this was an ugly duckling. Oh gosh, you know what, guys? I'm not even judging anybody because I kind of feel like I resonate with that story as well. And it's so funny because as a girl, those were one of the first books my godmother gave to me as a little girl. And I can still recall flipping through the pages of that hardcover book and having it be one of the most fascinating stories I'd ever read. And that's what I feel through this temperance energy here. This divine feminine was once the ugly duckling. Maybe you guys didn't have money, right? Like, you guys might have seemed like not classy to people in your divine masculine circle, or like your family didn't have status, or like, you know, that kind of like medieval old school thinking that the divine masculine's trying to sort through in their own lives. But like you rose to the occasion, divine feminine. That's what I'm getting. And you know what? It takes me back to a personal memory of my own. I remember back in the day, like I was getting married, right? And me and my husband, my son's father at the time, we tried to be really like strategic about what we were doing and how much we were spending in terms of like the wedding, because behind the scenes, we were really saving money for our honeymoon. And so I ended up doing my wedding invitations myself, okay? And I ended up doing like the photo shoot thing where in each photo it was like giving our guests the details of our wedding. And we did it all like homemade, like we took our own pictures and we got it copied into like a card. But what I did was I wrote everyone's name on the invitation by hand. I did it in permanent marker. And low-key, a lot of people that I gave the invitations to, including my own personal friends, kind of low-key tried to be like, I can't believe you wrote out your invitations in marker, you know? And at the time, it made me feel really insecure. And then every time I look back on that memory, you know, I think about me and my husband celebrating our honeymoon in the Maldives, okay? We flew out to the Maldives, we stopped in Dubai, and then we ended up in Mali, and then from Mali we took a speedboat to our resort. And when I look back, I'm having the last laugh myself because I ended up getting to enjoy an amazing, exotic, incredibly beautiful honeymoon because I didn't care about the details about wedding invitations. You know what I mean? At the time, I was like, I'm not going to spend like $1,500, $2,000 on paper and envelopes and like cards for someone to open it and throw it in the garbage. So instead we stashed that money away towards our honeymoon to go to the Maldives. And you know, at the end of the day, we still caught slack, right, from other people who were like, I can't believe she didn't get her wedding invitations printed. And then you guys want to go somewhere mediocre for your honeymoon. Don't come for me unless I call for you, please. Okay? So that's what I mean by the feminines having the last laugh. You guys were like a little bit rough around the edges at the beginning of your journey, and then you really knocked everybody's socks off in terms of your transformation. And I feel like tables are turning for this divine masculine and feminine that I'm channeling for, where the divine feminine is on top and she's fucking self-made, baby. She doesn't need no degree. She doesn't need no big job. She doesn't need no boss because she's her own boss. And now your divine masculine is looking at you in awe. But the heaviness you guys might be feeling along the way is that your divine masculine is now experiencing the same type of lessons that you might have grown up in, divine feminine, okay? But aside from all of that, he'll be just fine. The divine masculines know how to carry themselves. And when you think of your divine masculine, think about lion energy. Okay, think about a lion who is just strategic, very strong, a good leader, a good hunter, a good protector. So when you guys think about walking away and being in your Queen of Swords energy, putting your divine masculine in their place, like secretly behind the scenes, you know, they really crave seeing you that way, okay? That temperance energy, okay? So let's go ahead and end off this reading by a few messages that your divine masculine has for you, okay? He's watching you. You guys may be totally oblivious to this right now. You don't even care because I sense a lot of feminine energy. You guys have been here, okay? You guys have been there, done that. And the old you might have been like, oh, let me just message him for the holidays. Oh, it's Christmas. There goes a notification because some of you are like, hell yes, I was going to do that. But I feel, sorry guys, that, the lesson behind that is that you will still be embodying the divine feminine energy in this Temperance card, even if you don't send that holiday message, right? Like at the end of the day, you know your worth. And you guys are growing out of that whole thing. It's almost like you're embodying your masculines, where in the past, you guys never got a birthday message, a holiday message, none of that stuff. And now that you guys are experiencing that balance side of yourself, you're seeing the illusions. You're like, wait a second, just because it's a holiday doesn't mean I have to bring myself out of my state of equilibrium to chase this journey. Okay? And it's attractive to your counterpart, guys, your masculine. So again, let's go ahead and get to these messages. What do they want you to know right now, divine feminine? I'm going to get married soon and you are all I can think about. Okay? So this might be for those of you who you have divine masculines who are in other relationships, who are in other karmic connections, and maybe Christmas time or the holidays is just rough right now because you guys have spent this year observing them Instagramming and Facebooking and doing all these fancy things, but deep down on the inside, you guys are feeling this heaviness about your connection because your divine masculine can only think about you, and right now they are scared about getting married. And it doesn't necessarily have to be married. Take it how it resonates. It might be entering a long-term connection with someone else or staying in a long-term connection with someone else and still continuing to think about this divine feminine. They need that temperance energy in their life in order to balance things because they need to be honest about how it is they feel for you. Otherwise, they're always going to continue to experience this energy. And believe me, guys, I've been there, and it's torture. It is absolute torture. You're better off being honest about how it is you're feeling, okay? Because it's crazy, like trying to be in two places at once, and that's what many of these masculines are going through right now, and that's why karmic endings are occurring, okay? So I've left the country. I had to, but I'll be back, okay? So these are really specific messages. I feel like this is like group 1, group 2, group 3. So for any of your masculines who are traveling right now, many of you are anticipating your divine masculine coming home in a sense. They'll be back. And I feel like this card is a strong indication that they need space. They're going through separation. They're going through triggers that might have nothing to do with you personally and has everything to do with them. So they're trying to tell you, don't worry, this is about me and not you. Like, I left because I'm running right now. I feel like a coward and I'm running, and I don't want you to feel worried because it's me. I need to sort it out, okay? And the last card here is you're the only thing that scares me, Okay, so I feel like for group 3, it kind of cycles back to this Temperance card here. You're the only thing that scares this divine masculine because you're the only thing in his life that actually requires him to be authentic and to show up in his life. And same for you, I feel, divine feminine, through this Temperance card here. Many of you have had to go through lessons and experiences where you've also had to use the experiences of your twin flame journey in order to stop chasing and be autonomous. Stop chasing and be more independent. Stop chasing and be more present with yourself in your own life. Okay, and a lot of your masculines are going through this right now where they're having to show up. I think I talked about this in the last reading. Your presence, this balance within you is causing your counterpart to say, I need a timeout and I need to show up better for myself. I need to make healthier choices for myself. I need to be a better version of myself in order to really go forward on this whole connection with my counterpart, whether it's divine masculine or divine feminine. All right, guys, so check out the other reading that I did too as well, where it's just like an audio message. I talk a lot about things that are coming up for twin flames right now that it's going to help you to be better versions of yourself, make better choices, be a healthier version of yourself. It has a lot to do with conscious parenting, organizing your space, introducing yourself to things like feng shui, just being better organized and having cleanliness and organization in things like your home, your atmosphere, your environment, and then you guys will see how that energy will trickle down into your everyday life, where it's like all of a sudden you're at home in your own environment and in your own space, and things start feeling a lot more clean, a lot more clear, a lot more organized. Your mind starts feeling that way as well. So you guys get a chance to start executing creative ideas. When I got into that space, the first thing I wanted to do was paint. I went to Dollarama, that's our dollar store here in Canada. I got myself a bunch of canvases, a bunch of acrylic paint, a bunch of paint brushes. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. All I knew was the more I cleaned up shop at home, the more I became more organized and focused on the basics, which was the environment around me, the more I started feeling these urges and these passions to do things. And the first thing I wanted to do was paint. So I urge you guys to continue to use up the rest of this year to make lists, okay? New Year's resolutions, it might sound cliche, but do it. Talk about the things that you guys want to attract in this lifetime. Talk openly and call it in, because it's a really good time right now to experience whatever it is you want to experience. My last video on Patreon as well, for like this holiday reading that I did, it talked about making lists, like different types of lists, and writing it down. Use pen and paper. It's a mental thing. You have to use pen and paper to write stuff down so that your eyes can see it in front of you. That lets you know what's going on inside your heart and in your head. So when you put it on paper, write down what you want out of your twin flame journey. Write down what you want out of your career. Write down what you want for your family and your health. Okay, like whatever you need to do to attract things into your life that you want to experience in 2022 that maybe you really thought you would have in 2021, but what 2021 has taught you is that in order to experience those things, you have to get serious about it. You got to write it down. You got to take action on them, okay? So check out the other video that we'll be uploading later on today as well, okay? Especially if you guys are parents, because I've got a lot of cool conscious parenting tips in there, okay? I love you guys. Take care. Happy holidays, and I'll catch you in the next video, okay? Bye, guys.